we can move on to the 4th seed here,
Indeed.
which is the Houston Texans, which Frank, spoiler alert, I know you want to talk about the Texans here as a potential team. So I was shocked by this one, but give me your reasoning here.
It's something I've brought up before that I believe in. It's a baseball term, so I'm sorry, Matt, but the plexiglass principle, which was a Bill James thing, which when a team improves a ton in 1 year, it's hard for them to improve again. Usually they take a little bit of a step back. That just happens. It's something that happens over and over. And the more I'm thinking about the Texans, and look, it's so easy to get excited about them, right? Like CJ Stroud had a rookie season I've never seen before. He was so far beyond his years as a quarterback that I just can't say enough good things about CJ Stroud. I get this, right? But maybe they just do take a little bit of a step back. This is a team, like I always think about it in terms of this. How would the conversation be different if this 50-50 thing went against them? If they lose against the Indianapolis Colts in week 18, on the road, I think they were underdogs in that game, maybe slightly favored, whatever they were. If they lose that game and the Colts win the division, Texans never go to the playoffs, never beat the Browns in the playoffs. What's the conversation about the Texans right now? Is it, oh my God, this team can win a Super Bowl? I don't think so. So yeah. I just think the offseason hype has gotten a little too heavy for them. Yes, the Diggs trade is very splashy, but there's a possibility we've seen the best of Stephon Diggs. He was really a non-factor in the second half, 10 games, whatever it was at the end of last season. So I wonder if we're overrating that. I don't know if their defense is any better. They swap out Greenard for Danielle Hunter, which I don't think is an upgrade necessarily. There's enough questions about maybe the Texans regressed just a little bit. And I also think we've completely forgotten about the Jaguars. Look, the Jaguars were on pace to win 11, 12 games last year. And then Trevor Lawrence suffers a high ankle sprain and was not the same player down the stretch. Like there's a bunch of things that went wrong with the Jaguars, but we can also create a picture where Trevor Lawrence stays healthy and they go on to win 11 games. It was a pretty good football team until he got hurt last year. And also I'm really high in the Indianapolis Colts. I'm also wish casting Anthony Richardson for 17 games, which might not happen. But there's enough to like about those two teams that maybe Houston doesn't win this division. And once you get thrown in that the wild card waters, there's no guarantee you're going to beat out teams like the Jets or the Bills or the second, third place finishers in the AFC East and the South or the North. So I just have enough questions about the Texans right now to wonder, maybe we're a little too far over our skis with the Texans and maybe they do take a step back this season.
The strength, or at least potential strength of the division, does give me a little bit of pause because I'm with you. I'm high on the Colts. I think the Jags can kind of find themselves, and even the Titans, man, like if Will Levis is good, that Titans offense is going to be at least plucky. I don't know that they're going to be a great team, but
they're a team with a million variables. And if some of these variables hit, if Callahan is an upgrade on the offense and playing more up-tempo suits them, and Calvin Ridley really was misused in Jacksonville, as you've pointed out and gotten semi-famous for this offseason. And, all these things with the Titans could turn out their way. I'm not high on them right now, but yes, it's a good point on the Titans.
Only shooting for semi-famous here in the Harmon household. So, I think that they could at least, there could be a week where any of these teams, contending teams, any of the teams in the AFC South for sure, lose a game to the Titans, and we're like, how the hell did that happen? And then we're kind of starting to pay attention to the Titans a little bit. The strength of the division, or at least potential strength, does give me pause. But man, I don't know. I feel so good about where Stroud is. I feel so good about him in
I hate betting against him.
Season 2 of Bobby Slowick here. Season 2 of D'Amico Ryans installing what he wants on defense. Will Anderson's coming off a great year. Now, I do have some questions. I'm with you on that defense. Like, you're dropping Azeez Al-Shaair in there. Hopefully that's a good signing. I did like that move. I like the Danielle Hunter signing. But, you still got Jeff Okudah on the other side there, projected as the starter at right cornerback. Is Lassiter, the rookie, going to upseat him right away? That would probably be a good thing across from Derek Stingley, who had a nice year last year. I generally think the defense is trending up. And on offense, I think that the thing that with the exercise with the Bengals, one thing starts to go wrong, many things can start to go wrong. The thing I think about the Texans here, Frank, is okay, let's say Stephon Diggs comes in there and he's not the same Stephon Diggs, which I think, by the way, is just I don't think he's the same player anymore. I think he's still a good receiver based on his film last year, but he's not the same vertical receiver. I think he can help them in the short to intermediate routes if he's willing to kind of be that guy, which is a whole separate conversation. But okay, let's say he's not there. Nico Collins is, potentially a top 12 receiver in the league.
He's here. Yeah, he's already arrived.
Here. Tank Dell was awesome as a rookie.
Awesome. Awesome. Diggs might be their number 3 receiver, and how is he going to react to that?
That is a fair question. Although I do think that people underrate like just how much Stephon Diggs wants to win a Super Bowl, and like if fair. This team. So that's just again whole separate conversation. But let's say Tank Dell's not 100% coming off this injury. Well, again, maybe Diggs helps there. Maybe Nico Collins. Like they're so well insulated, and they still have a pretty good offensive line that I respect you for going out on the limb here. I have a tough time. Like I can see with the Texans being slightly disappointing if the expectation is they're the second best team in the conference. But
and I have a tough time. Expectation right now, isn't it? Like you look at the Super Bowl odds, I think they might be second or third. I just wonder if just we've extrapolated like a team that barely made the playoffs last year and just said, oh, Stroud's going to be so much better as second. Not all improvement is linear. I mean, sometimes you do take a little bit of stuff. I love CJ Stroud. And I hate to even be saying negative things about him because he could win MVP this year. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Like he has that ceiling. We all know that, but I don't know. There's just enough that I'm like, are we a little too ahead of ourselves with the Texans right now based on what happened at the end of last season? It's possible. It's somewhat, again, this is a hard exercise to do because every one of these teams looks great right now. We're not like sitting here saying, oh yeah, the Texans are terrible. No, everybody wants to be excited about the Texans, where I'm like, if I'm trying to be contrarian, I'm saying, maybe they don't win the division. And that would be a pretty big disappointment for them.
Totally fair. And I think it's really smart to, I say this on the show a lot. When everybody assumes one thing, my natural instinct is also to be pretty contrarian. So, but I have a tough time with the Texans, but we'll see if we make them a finalist. Let's move on to the Browns.